Have you heard of a dish called Marry Me Chicken? It's all the rage at the moment. It's based on a Tuscan-style dish with sun-dried tomatoes and a delicious creamy sauce. In fact, it's so good you'll fall in love with the dish or, in fact, the person making it for you. It's also very quick to put together. We'll start with our chicken. Now, my chicken breasts were quite large, so I've cut them in half. We need to season them with a good pinch of salt and some freshly cracked pepper. And I love a good amount of dried thyme. You could use fresh if you like. So sprinkle that over the top. Okay, I will season the other side as it cooks in the pan. So a glug of oil, and swirl that around a saute pan. Now I'm using a pan that not only goes on the stove top but also goes into the oven. If you don't have that, start the dish off in a pan, fry it off, and then pop everything into a baking dish. So there's two options there. Okay, now that that's hot, in with our chicken breast and seasoned side down. And if you need, you can cook these in batches. What you don't want to do is overcrowd the pan, because we don't want it to stew at this stage. Chicken breast is super lean, so it takes no time at all to cook. What we're trying to do is get a really lovely crust and colour on it. So that'll take a few moments. And season the other side. Pepper. And that dried thyme. And let's turn this over. Perfect. Great colour there. And I just want to very quickly seal the other side and then take them out, okay? Really important not to overcook this chicken. We want it to stay super tender. Okay, the last two chicken breasts can go in and we'll just colour them. Now, while those last two chicken breasts are searing off, we can prepare our sun-dried tomatoes. I love sun-dried tomatoes. They've got that wonderful concentrated sweet tomatoey flavour to them. And because they're quite firm, they do need to rehydrate in the sauce. So I'm going to cut them into strips. You could also use some semi-sun-dried tomatoes for this recipe too. Really, really nice addition. And this is one of those lovely dishes that can be completely adapted. So if you wanted to add some extra ingredients like olives and capers, again, works really well with the chicken. All right, let's flip these over. Nice colour. And we'll just take them out. All right, now it happens all quite quickly. So in this pan, I'll add some butter. And as that melts, I'll add some garlic, a few cloves of garlic. You could add some onion if you like, but I'm going to just stick to garlic for this, keeping it super simple. In with some tomato paste. You want to work fast here so we don't burn that garlic. And some chicken stock. You'll need about 1 to 1.5 cups of stock, and that'll deglaze the pan. Right. And give that a bit of a swirl and just let that come up to the boil. And once that comes up to the boil, we can add our cream. Now, I'm going to be using some cooking cream. This is fantastic because it thickens up nicely. We're going to get a lovely gloss and sheen on the sauce, and it heats up without splitting. So you'll need a whole tub of that cream. We'll just give that a swirl. And again, bring that up to the boil. Now it's time to add our sun-dried tomatoes. We'll pop that in. I love a one-pan wonder. This certainly is that kind of dish. And then into this sauce, we'll add our chicken. So we just want to nestle the chicken in one single layer, just like so. Any of the juices that are on the plate, we'll add them because that's flavour. And now this goes into the oven, and we just want to cook the chicken and get that sauce quite thick. So it's going to take about 15 to 20 minutes. All right, the chicken has come out of the oven and we just want to finish off the sauce. So remove the chicken. It smells so good. And we just want to reduce it a little longer so it thickens up. And it just takes a few moments. And to give this some extra sheen and an extra savoury flavour, I love the addition of some parmesan. So just on a very low heat, and we'll just grate in some parmesan. And you can see how much that cream has thickened, even with boiling. It hasn't split. It's really stayed quite velvety. and there's no thickening agents whatsoever. I haven't used any flour. It's just thickened up nicely. So I'm quite happy with that. I'm going to turn the heat off and we can start to plate up. So I'm serving mine with some Pappardelle pasta. It's fantastic with polenta. You can serve it with gnocchi, rice, risoni, whatever you like. I'm going to slice one of these breasts just on an angle, perfectly cooked. You could also use chicken thighs for this if you like. And we'll just place this on top of our Pappardelle pasta. And a generous spoonful of our creamy marry-me sauce just over the top. Lots of those gorgeous little sun-dried tomatoes there. And a simple garnish of some basil, if you have. Pop that just there. That is a beautiful dish, one pan wonder. No wonder why it's so popular. Creamy sauce, chicken, it all gets cooked within 20 to 30 minutes. Delicious. I love it with Pappardelle, but like I said, it goes with so many different sides. Enjoy.